All right, all right. Good morning to you all. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Um, my name is Troy Selvey. I'm with the California AfterSchool Network. I'm going to be your MC for today and host as we get started. So great to have each and every one of you here. Thanks for joining us and thanks for letting us know where you're from and where you're coming from. I think I might have saw North Highlands Recreation, and I just got to give them a special shout out because like that's the neighborhood I used to live in back in the day, and I know that the work there, and I know the kids there need the work that you do. So not a biased, just a fact, but appreciating each and every one of you for joining us today. We've got a fun, packed full day, so we'll get to it. Um, a gentle reminder, we're going to be recording. We're going to be tracking our media and things of that today. So just a reminder to you all, we're going to get ready as soon as we're good here. I think we're going to start recording. So be mindful that that is happening. So if you have questions about that or you have concerns about being recorded or anything like that, please let us know. Drop it in the chat or reach out to any of these wonderful folks that are here to be able to assist in that manner. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get that recording started and we'll keep it moving. Um, just those gentle reminders. As is the practice commonly in our work, one of the things that we do is we believe in creating mindfulness opportunities, grounding us in our spaces before we get started. So I'm going to lead us in a short little grounding, just to kind of get us situated and set for today. This is an invitation. This is not by any means a forceful thing. Do whatever it is that you need to do. My only ask is if you aren't participating, try to be mindful of those that are, right? So make sure you stay on mute and or if you need to turn off your camera, get that extra cup of coffee, whatever it is. Um, please feel free to take care of your needs in the next few minutes. For those that are going to participate, I'll invite you to get into a comfortable situation, whatever that looks like for you. Turning your cameras on or turning your cameras off, like myself, or, getting yourself into a situation wherever it is that you need to be situated. Um, my colleague Diego likes to say, sitting upright, but not sitting uptight. As we get into that comfortable situation, whatever that looks like for you, checking, making sure that you all can hear me clearly. Um, let's just go ahead and start with a deep breath in. Using this deep breath to help to ground us and get us present, bringing us into our space. As you do so, I'll invite you to just take another deep breath in, getting a little bit more centered, getting a little bit more grounded. And on this last breath, we'll use this as an acknowledgement breath. Breathing in, feeling your in breath, and exhaling and feeling the out breath. As we continue this practice, find a breathing rhythm that works best for you. As you find that rhythm, I have some questions. First is take a moment to check in with yourself. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? My next question is, what are you hoping to get from our time together today? What are you hoping to get from our time together today? And my last question is, what are you going to do to ensure that your needs are met today? What are you going to do to ensure that your needs are met today? So, for those that might be joining us or just getting into their situated space, I'll repeat the questions. How are you doing today? What are you hoping to get from our time together today? And what do you need? What are you going to do to make sure that your needs are met today? What are you going to do to make sure that your needs are met today? Now, as we get ready to come back, I'd like you all to just take a moment and give yourself a little gratitude and appreciation, and not just mentally, but also physically. So I'm going to ask and invite you to stretch out your arms side to side, and then take them and wrap them around you and give yourself a big hug. Give yourself a big hug. Wrap them around your shoulders, wrap them around your back, however, and give yourself a squeeze. Give yourself a squeeze. And then when you're ready, I'm going to invite you to come back, open your eyes if you did so, if you did close them, coming back on screen, joining us, sending a lot of gratitude and appreciation in that for taking that time. We're firm believers in that when we ground, we honor our humanity. We're proven by biology and by neuroscience that it helps to be able to regulate us and help us. And then lastly, it helps us to be present and allows with the practice of personal mastery. So for those that participated, I thank you. For those that did not, thank you for taking care of your needs, however you saw fit, because we are all on this continuum to take advantage of however we need to, whatever we need to. So we're really excited for you all to be able to join us. I'm just making sure that our keynote is here and ready before I get ready to do the introductions. But bef before I go to that, I just, again, want to extend a lot of gratitude to each and every one of you for joining us, to all of the folks that had a hand in helping to make this possibility, from our partners, from our planet to our partner, to our planning team, to the Department of Education Expanded Learning Division itself. We're not able to do any of this without every part of this system and every part of this field. So we are truly, truly, truly appreciative to be able to have this opportunity to connect in this way. So, without further ado, kick us off. Get the fortunate ability to introduce you to my executive director. Some of you may know this one man, some of you may not, but I have the fortunate ability to introduce Jeff Davis to you all, our executive director for the California AfterSchool Network, who's going to take some time and walk you through a little journey before we move to the place of getting into our workshops today. As I said before, we have a jam-packed day with lots of wonderful content, and this is only the beginning. So, Mr. Davis, if I could invite you to join us and jump in, really excited to have you here. And I'll pass the mic to you, and I'll be the one driving your slides. So, right here by your side, my man.
Very good. Thank you, Troy. And just want to thank you also just for guiding us through that practice. It's one of these things where I don't know about you. I saw somebody in the chat wrote, Hey, I'm just holding gratitude. I made it to work and I made it to work safely today. And I know that just taking those little spaces to pause, sometimes, you can live a whole week in one morning and just getting here uh can be a whole thing, right? And so just wanting to take that moment and pause. And I think that it will also um it'll tie to a lot of my remarks because what we just did there was we found a little mini moment of healing in the context of a crazy day. We can go ahead and take a look at the next slide. Uh, I also just want to acknowledge, right, and also really give props to the California AfterSchool Network leadership team. As we've been leaning into this notion of compassionate systems, one of the concepts is this whole notion of creative tension. And there's a couple of ways to think about this, right? That one of the things that you want to do is you want to set your aspiration really far ahead of you because what ends up happening is that there's this gap between your aspiration and your current reality. And our leadership team really took that to heart and said, yeah, let's go ahead and adopt this aspiration statement that the California After School Network grounds its work in the aspiration of a global, human-centered society. But I also just want to take a little moment for all of us to think about how far away we are from that current reality. And I just want to acknowledge, right, that in our current reality right now, there are many out there who are suffering, experiencing pain all throughout this world. Um, and I understand that even our thoughts are electric energy when our synapses come together. And even the simple act of thought can release waste heat through that chemical reaction into our universe. Some people think about this as the power of prayer as well. But I just want to take a moment, if you would, with me, and just in your own heart and in your own mind, can we just think lovingly for all of those in the world who are experiencing suffering and pain right now? I thank you for taking that time and even that small little moment, that small little act of us using our mental and our heart energy and putting that out into the world. Uh, y'all shifted something, and you may never understand what that shift is, but thank you for taking the time to put that out into the world. Um, let's take a look at the next slide, and I just want to honor one of my professors in college. She's no longer with us, Maria Hess. But this quote that I still remember from my first day of abnormal psychology class when she said, this class is misnamed. There's no such thing as abnormal psychology. There is only normal adaptation to abnormal circumstance. And so let's acknowledge, right, that the circumstances that many face in this world, uh, they might be considered abnormal. And I wanted to just take a little bit of time to explore um, what it is that perhaps our kids need in these times, in this moment. And let's go ahead and just take a look at that next slide. And I will say that much of this, and of course, if you've ever heard me speak before, you've heard me say this, that love is a research-based approach. And so some of what we know that kids need right now is what we've always known. And I'll say a little bit about that. But first, I want to just take a look at the next slide and really share that, right? If there's if there's anything that you take away from these remarks, it's one, thank you for the work that you do each and every day. And I hope that through some of the remarks that you hear, you will understand and internalize exactly how much your work actually matters. And uh, especially now. Um, so thank you, and you matter. Let's continue this journey, and right, like this whole notion of love being a research-based approach is actually embedded into the quality standards for expanded learning in California. It is fantastic to work as part of a state system that literally is promoting what research says is actually what kids need. And let's explore that a little bit more, beginning on the next slide. Of course, if you're unfamiliar with the quality standards, what we're saying in the quality standards, or what the quality standards say, is that youth should be experiencing what you see on the left, right? A safe and supportive environment, active and engaged learning, skill building, right? In an environment that's safe and welcoming for all. And on the right, it's really that these things don't happen by accident, right? That program leaders, organizations, and systems are all working to support what happens on our sites. But a little bit more background, and then we can check out the next slide. And if you have also heard me speak before, uh, you have heard this before, but we're going to go ahead and jump into it because the roots of all of those quality standards are the protective factors that are on the next slide. And just going over these just really briefly, these are also what California measures in the California Healthy Kids Survey. They all really came out of research roundup in 2004 that outlined Bonnie Bernard outlined in her text, Resilience, What We Have Learned. But really, what it says is that when children and youth experiencing caring relationships, high expectations, and opportunities for meaningful participation, I always like to talk about the high expectations part because it's not, I don't look at that as like a callous and rigid high bar. What that looks like to me in action is you got this, I got you. And also, it might look like in action, hey, I know you, I see you, and I know also that you're better than the choice that you just made. And let's talk about that choice, right? That's another way that high expectations might show up that's grounded in those caring relationships. But when children and youth experience those things, it meets their developmental needs and promotes strengths that result in success in life. And on the next slide, you'll see a new framework that was put out in 2019 from the National Aspen Commission on Social, Emotional, and Academic Development, and was another sort of research roundup. And what I really love about this overlay is that it really talks about the importance of equitable environments as it talks about the uh, safe and supportive environment, right? But you see the quality standards all over what is in these learning settings and student experiences. And what we know is that it results in stronger academics, life well-being, civic and community engagement, as well as workforce and career readiness. But wait, there's more on the next slide. These are more than theoretical frameworks. In fact, Dr. Deborah Vandell is now coming out with research that is a longitudinal study that followed kids for over 20 years and looked at folks that participated in out of school time and those that didn't. And you'll see that all across the spectrum of their life, whether in elementary school, secondary school, and into young adulthood, you see that in school they're seeing better grades, right? Less behavior issues. That you're seeing better relationships. In older youth, you're seeing more civic engagement, pro-social behavior, right? Better grades, test scores, things of that nature, right? Success in school, but also the bigger life outcomes. And then you're seeing reduced risk behavior, reduced substance use, and then into adulthood, we're seeing that those that participated in out of school time earn more than their peers that didn't. They attain college degrees at higher rates. They tend to be healthier, and they're less substance and justice involved. So, look, the research is clear. The work that you do matters. You may never see the outcome of your work, but you have to know that the work that you do each and every day, and it is supported by research framework, research study after research study, you are supporting life success in the work that you do. So let's take a look at that next slide. I was reminded recently that one of our team members here at the California AfterSchool Network, when we first met, they were a site coordinator, and they said, the first words that you said to me, Jeff, were that when I said I was just a site coordinator, you said, no, we don't get to use just a site coordinator, right? Because this work is so important. And to think about the work that you do to create the conditions for the success of those kids, whether that be managing parents or teachers, your social situation in your communities right now of kids and families not wanting to send their kids to school, right? Like we're hearing stories of colleagues, right, that family members are being deported and things of this nature, right? And yet, right, you're managing all of this while ensuring that all the supplies are there for every lesson, your staff are supported, right? And like I mentioned, all of the people, right, managing budgets, and not only that, cleaning up the classrooms at the end of the day to make sure that your program remains in good standing with the school. And is that just all you do? Right? And so what we know um, is that the work that you do actually is building so many skills. Like literally, if you can be an effective expanded learning site coordinator, there is nothing you can't do. Um, And we're also, we're really looking into this platform of expanded learning. I just want to share with you some of the things that are happening. And with the leadership of the California Department of Education's Expanded Learning Division, we're looking into across sectors and convening. And some of you might be involved in this effort, but we're really looking at what is this expanded learning platform that we have now that we're at the scale that we're at? How do we build on the conditions for thriving that we create and really look at how we can be part of a broader education, health, and human service ecosystem so that all kids and all families can get what they need? And in this work, I want to explore specifically one of those lines today, that notion of being healing centered. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next slide. Um, this might be a moment for healing centered engagement. What I want to share with you is that this notion really was coined by Sean Ginwright, who is a researcher who understood the importance of youth development and then ultimately developed this concept of social justice youth development. Because yes, we really want youth development. It's needed. It's the foundation, and we have to acknowledge that there are community contexts and there are other contexts around our youth programming that are impacting kids. And so he really sort of discusses that youth development really has to be taken into the context of race, identity, marginalization, and really looking at that whole person. And that, yes, that whole person might be experiencing trauma, but that they're also more than their trauma. And then looking at, this notion of in that context, how are we really looking at focusing on well-being, right? Moving beyond this reduction in pathology or moving beyond sort of like how can we reduce sadness, but how do we actually promote happiness? How do we actually promote hope? So this is this notion of healing-centered engagement. We can take a look at the next slide, and we'll explore it a little bit more. But it really is something that is so consistent with our quality standards because It acknowledges the whole person. But that they're also looking at this is looking at not only creating conditions of protective factors, but also those meaningful opportunities of what does it look like for collective healing, for civic action, for being able to sort of take on a local community issue and have generate some hope by addressing that issue. And in doing so, this helps us address what might feel like a hopeless community condition and promote healing. We can take a look at the next slide. Um, and um, it's really, there's a lot of words here. But really, what this comes down to is that this sort of notion is really sort of grounded in this notion of sort of how do we use our agency to actually affect change. And I just wanted to sort of point out this notion of the researchers. The studies focus on concepts like liberation, emancipation, oppression, social justice, and then it suggests that building an awareness of justice and equality combined with an action that right like in action like action, protests, organizing, school walkouts, that this actually is something that contributes to well-being. It contributes to hopefulness. It contributes to optimism. So that a way of addressing trauma is to sort of help kids in developmentally appropriate ways sort of look at how they can have some control and agency in addressing some of the challenges that are faced in the community. And uh, and that is a hope generator in some senses. So let's take a look at the next slide. I'm going to throw a little bit of a curveball to the CAN team, maybe looking at you, Lupita, to just drop in a link to the Flourish agenda, because there is no way that I'm going to be able to fully outline this concept in the time that I have. But there is a place where you can learn more about healing-centered engagement, even get training, even a certification in healing-centered engagement. So we'll drop in that link for you to learn more. But this is again something that is so rooted and consistent with our quality standards for expanded learning in California. And I want to just sort of point out this other part and bring us back to thanking Troy for the mindfulness, because healing centered engagement also, by its very concept, it has to support adults with their healing as well, so that we can create the conditions for the kids that we serve. Um, so let's take a look at the next slide. Um, this can look a lot of ways, and I'm gonna bring it back to something that like, what does this really look like in just a minute? And in fact, I'm going to give a youth the last word, but this is really about how do we think about in these times what a meaningful learning opportunity that is youth driven, depending on the age group that we're serving, looks like, right? What does developmentally appropriate civic action look like so that we can help generate hope through community action? And then how do we integrate sort of wellness activities into the programming to sort of create these conditions very similar to how Troy did for us today? Um, Next slide. Last year, I had the opportunity to also present to the virtual symposium, and I told you a little bit about my own journey. And I'll tell you this much that I never identified it as such, but I was challenged, especially in adolescence, once I got into the schooling environment. I felt unseen. Um, I didn't understand why we were doing what we were doing. And I found other opportunities that were meaningful to me outside of the school environment. Yeah, that photo in the top right, that was my senior picture. So you can write like uh, I was clearly somebody that was finding their own way and their own path to be engaged. And one of those was that I got to like probably one of the reasons that I graduated and went to school was that I had the opportunity in the school day to do silk screening. And what that did was exactly what we talked about in terms of healing centered engagement. I was able to promote messages of justice that mattered to me. I was able to create silk screens and clothing that reflected my identity, exercising my own creativity and energy towards something that mattered to me, and communicated something um, to the world around me about what I cared about. This was my healing centered engagement. And thankfully, I had that because without it, I really don't know what I would have done. But just coming back to this quote, right? That there and Troy, next slide, that there really is uh, no such thing as abnormal psychology. There's only normal adaptation to abnormal circumstances. And I really wanted to end my remarks by turning it over to Aaliyah, who also, sneak preview, we're going to have somebody from Sacramento area youth speaks. Aaliyah was part at Symposium proper, and I can't wait for that because I think that's what this concept of healing centered engagement really looks like. But this is Aaliyah, who was from a Bay Area Youth Speaks Slam here in California. And for me, this is a perfect example of what healing centered engagement looks like. And so, Troy, let's take it to the next slide and let's give Aaliyah our last word.
Societal sculptures fade away like water paint on a lean canvas. The mixture of colors makes me anxious, but I swear, I know what pure grace is. We live in a world where the mindset is money. You kill bees, but ask for honey now. Why would you kill what has the power to create and sustain? I notice we love to complain about pain, but no one mentions the thrill in the gain. The belly of the beast is no stranger to scars. Holds an undeniable hunger, and sometimes I question why the only way to feed the beast is fight violence with more violence. Enticing fire to seek prey and annihilate, cause chaos but expect silence. Force compliance, half these people ain't never felt the purest ray of sunshine. A natural remedy for the blues, making poetry exist from soil. Showing me a glimpse every morning, nothing but green, animals roaming free, our air is clean. We don't fear the spirited flames of fire. We learn how to move with the grace of water. Maybe start swimming a little stronger. There's no need to tread the surface. You allow your body to move with the current. There's no bullets devouring the skin of any living being. Guns loaded, cigarette smoking, finger on the trigger. Angry boy sees daddy with gun, learns to shoot. Daddy says, get the job done, waters the bullet with tears and grows a man out of that gun, bullets for blood. Angry man bleeds a lot. Became embodiment of gun, positioned around every corner like a shy shadow. Only seeking to be seen when the deterioration stops manifesting. This skin is still alive, but not for long. This world managed to teach guns how to sing our song, and my song is fading. And I think the reason humanity is failing is you're a fool to think you'll prosper if you aren't a product of pollution and slaughter. They cut down trees to make buildings, build stores to sell trees, identify ocean as wasteland, dumping their truth for safekeeping, hoping the current will take it deep enough to never resurface. Built an army, labeled it factory, told the soldiers they're fighting for salary. This is how they get away with legalized slavery. Grooming human beings into machines, giving them survival of the fittest mentality, mastering the art of rapid strategy. An international game of Russian roulette, a death duet. Shoot the last man standing, a masterpiece, a sculpture of what's left of society.
Wow. Like, man, if we ain't ready for it, we just got ready for it. We just got educated. We just got schooled there. Taking a moment to thank Mr. Jeff Davis for his powerful words around healing centered engagements and what that looks like for us in the field, and taking a moment to just honor the wonderful, powerful video that we just watched with Aaliyah and her powerful words. Um, just man, as I told you when we started, we're in for a fun-filled day, and I hope I have not yet disappointed. This is just the beginning, folks. This is just the beginning. What you're looking at here is our wonderful schedule for our day today. We're getting close to moving into a transition, but before we do that, I just kind of want to give you an idea of what's to come. We have workshop sessions that start 10 to 11:15. These sessions are going to be, there are five of them. I believe they're being offered for us today through a variety of different topics. We invite you all to jump in. Just a heads up, these rooms are going to be capacity limited. So choose wisely. And the ask is once you choose, please try to stay in the space that you're in, because everyone that has been signed up and designated to do the presentations, they're planning accordingly to be able to accept people as they come and as they need, but don't want to disrupt them as they get started. So, if you could make sure that the choice that you choose is the one that you stick with, recognizing that there's so much good, rich content. But hey, guess what? Even if you don't make it to the sessions, you're going to have access to all of the recordings from this event. So even if you didn't make it to the session that you wanted to go to, you'll still have access to the recording as well as the materials from each of these sessions. So that to be said, one of the things that we're offering to try to help to make sure that you are building your capacity is there's a companion sheet that has been dropped in to help you to navigate a place for you to be able to take notes, save any of the links that's shared throughout the day. This companion pad is really just an opportunity for you to be able to kind of help and to take anything from our time together today. So use that in our workshop sessions. One, those sessions will end at 11:15. You'll have a little bit of a break, get up, move around from 11:15 to 11:30. Second set of sessions are going to be 11:30 to 12:45. And then we're going to break for a lunch for a half an hour break. And then we're going to have an afternoon plenary where we have another wonderful person coming to join and share kind of some insights. We'll do a transitional break from 12:45 to 1:15, and then we'll move into our last set of sessions. That will be from 2 o'clock to 2:45. After which we'll do another transitional break, and we'll move right into our virtual site visits. Now we're doing our site visits a little bit different this year than we have in past, so I just want to make sure that I bring attention to this. All of our site visits are going to be going at a concurrent moment. What that means is they're just going to be happening at the same time, whereas in years past, we've kind of stacked them where you've had the ability maybe to join one or two, but don't you worry. We're going to be recording those too, so you'll have access to even the ones you're not unable to attend. So we want to make sure and have tried our best to make sure that even if you're not in the space, you're getting the access to the information that is being offered in each and every space that's here today. And of course, we're ending our day with some celebration, opportunity for some virtual networking from 5:30 to 6:30. Really hoping that folks can stick around and join us. We'd love, love, love to hear from folks around the field, and we know that there is an opportunity to continue to break down silos. Hopefully, maybe you'll get a chance to engage with someone here that can offer you some insights that from their learnings. Or you can offer some insights from yours, recognizing we all do this work because we want to be in betterment of the folks that we service. So it's just kind of a breakdown of what our schedule is going to look like for today. We are so very excited that you joined us. I want to say welcome. We're grateful to have you. A big thank you to all of our partner sponsors, our guest speakers, our workshop presenters that are joining us, the planning team itself, all of our OST or expanded learning practitioners, educators, and the education practitioners, but most importantly, the children, youth, and families that we get the opportunity to serve. We are so very grateful to be in space with each and every one of you. Can't wait to be able to hear some of the learnings that are coming from you all as we continue to do this. But we hope and really hope that you get the opportunity to enjoy yourselves as you go. Um, And in case I don't get to see you before the end of the day, I just want to take my moment to share with you all that you're amazing. If someone has not told you, you are doing a wonderful job just by showing up, right? Just in the effort of being there, because that is what Jeff was saying. You're saving lives just by being who you are. Um, Most of us that are on this screen have been in many different positions, and we know that, and most of us that support as part of this planning team recognize that the work that you do is not easy. And so we are extremely grateful and extremely appreciative of what it is that you do and how you do it. Um, I'm not going to belabor this any longer. I'm going to give you a couple extra minutes. Hopefully, you guys are finding your way through the attendee hub. We have wonderful folks here that can help and assist in any different ways. Um, there's a lot of information, whether it's around the app, whether it's around the workshop content. Please don't hesitate. This link will be open all afternoon, so please feel free, and all day. So please, if you need anything or you're having trouble, um, make sure you jump in to this link, ask the questions that you need. There'll be someone here to help you and assist. And I just, while I have the mic, just taking a special moment to, there's a lot of work that goes into what we do, and we're not able to do it without many folks and many hands. But there is one specific person that helps me to move this work, and that's Melissa Perez. And so I'm just giving you a special shout out. You either have received an email, you've either been in communication, you've either received or participated in the toolkit that she's created. Know that the work that she does is so tireless to put this all together. And I think that it is, I get the fortunate ability to be in front of you and talk to you all, but not able to do any of that without the work that she does behind the scenes. And so I just want to take a moment to personally and acknowledge you in front of the folks, Melissa. We are very appreciative of everything that you do to help make this happen. So thank you from me, from our team, from the field, um, and to all the folks. I hope that you enjoy what we have curated for you and your time today. Take this next few minutes, take a break, move away from the screen, get up, move around, and don't be late to those workshops. All right, because they will fill up fast. Because there is 100, and I think we're at 125 folks that have joined us yet this morning, and so we are very appreciative for each and every person that's here. What that means is that those rooms are going to fill up quickly, so make sure that you jump in. Don't waste time to make your choices. So, all the best. We'll see you as we go through. Enjoy your morning sessions, and we'll see you back a little bit later. So, thank you. I see people are kind of jumping off, but remember, if you have questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. A little music to send you out.
Troy, I will say, I wonder if I can share a quick announcement because I know folks might be a little nervous with this long break. So please enjoy the break because how it works in CVent with our amazing attendee hub. You all navigated it successfully getting here on the Zoom link because right in the schedule, when you see those sections to the right, you can see a join Zoom link. So this will be for the opening plenaries. You might end up coming back later in the day, but for each session, they're going to have their each join button. So right now would be a good time too to explore the attendee hub, look at descriptions, look at titles, pick your top two, because you'll only have that 5 minutes before the session's going to start to go ahead and press the join Zoom link. So just letting you all know that's where you're going to find them. But again, if you need more support, you can go ahead and email myself and Nat with a tag team so that we can respond to you and get you where you need to be. So thank you all. Hope that's helpful. Enjoy the break because again, 5 minutes before they should start, you'll start seeing those buttons to kind of join that virtual space.
Thanks, LP, for that reminder for folks. And we hope that, and again, like just a reminder, if you need help, there are people here to help you. So enjoy that break.
Wake up, everybody, no more sleeping in bed. No more backward thinking, time for thinking ahead. The world has changed so very much from what it used to be. There's so much hatred, war and poverty. Oh, wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to the 2026 Virtual Site Coordinator Symposium. My name is Melissa Perez, and I have the privilege and honor to work with this amazing California AfterSchool Network team. And I'll go ahead and pass it over to Heather in a moment, and then Troy will resume as MC. So thanks you all for being here, and pass it over to Heather to kick us off for our afternoon keynote session.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Yeah, it looks like folks are still logging on, so I'm gonna give it a moment before I like jump into all the things. But yeah, while folks are logging on, would just love to, well, one, love all the pictures in the chat. So add more pictures, add more GIFs. Yeah, would love to know what people are reflecting on today. Like Troy, how was your session earlier? How'd it go?
Session went well, Heather. Session went well. We learned a lot, and I actually was coming back. I was coming on to ask folks to maybe drop some of the gems maybe that they learned in some of their sessions. The one that I took away was in the session that we just led was all centered around like we need each other to do this work. We need each other, and all elements of this work create opportunity for care, opportunities for us to be able to see and not only from an adult's perspective, like how we provide care, but how that impacts our youth. And so, talking about it through a lens of sports play and movement and how that's happening across the state that was super awesome to be able to learn. But I'd be interested to hear from others, before we pass it to you, Heather, because and I have to say, while I'm off the mic, I am super excited about this because I was advocating for this for a really long time. For those that don't know, Heather Williams is absolutely amazing. So I'm super excited for you all to get a chance to hear a little bit about what she has to share. But it, as the numbers continue to creep up, it looks like maybe we'll give it another minute or so, Heather, before we jump in. Do you think?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
good.
And then I'm trying to track the chat. It's all moving pretty fast here. It looks like good guidance on how we can turn tasks into activities. The restful leadership session got a lot of love. There's love for you in the chat already. Someone said, taking care of others, we need to take care of ourselves first. Or to take care of others, we need to take care of ourselves first. We start by stopping stood out to me in the Restful Leadership Workshop. And I learned that the tone of my voice can affect how not only my students communicate, but my staff. Also learning to check in with myself before I start my work day. These are all super great things. Keep them coming, please. FPM clarity. Learned about myself and the others and how we can take steps to care for themselves. In another session, learned a lot more about difficult conversations and received plenty of resources to bring back to my team. Emotions are contagious. So it sounds like there was a lot of learning that was happening. It sounds like there was a lot of opportunities for connection happening. we are super, super excited to hear that. It only continues to confirm what I thought I tried to, share with you all. We have thought through this, tried our best to make sure that everything that you experienced today is valuable to you. So I'm super excited that we're halfway there to being able to do that. But I think that we're probably in a good spot where it feels like, the spot for me to turn the mic back to you, Heather, for you to begin and kick us off, keep us moving.
Sounds good. Thank you, Troy. I'm gonna set my timer so I make sure I keep us on track. And yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Great to have you all here in this space, and have you here with us. And yeah, I guess before I jump in, I do want to say thank you to you, Troy. Yes, you have been bugging me about this for a while, and while I have facilitated trainings and I've been in different spaces and talked to folks, never keynoted any space, and so yeah, was reluctant to say yes to you. But thank you, Troy, for pushing me outside of my comfort zone. So with that, I'll just jump in. So we'll go to the next slide. So my warning here is everything is political, including this keynote. So I'm just giving you all the heads up right now. If you did not see, in my title is policy. My job is policy. So that means I strongly believe that everything is political. And so this keynote will be political. And in fact, if we go to the next slide, here's a whole bunch of things that you might not think are political, but they are indeed political. I have been in many spaces lately, and I will say, well, let me go back. Growing up, I did not plan to get into politics, to get into policy. For a short period of time, I did imagine, when I was a little kid, oh, maybe I'll be the first female president, but that was very fleeting. And for the most part, I daydreamed of, doing things like being a teacher or being an architect or even a graphic designer. And it wasn't until um, I got into college that this really started to resonate with me, how much everything is political, and to um, choose to pursue a path that would help me learn more about policy. And so I've been in a lot of spaces lately and hear things where, again, whether it's virtually or in person, like, oh, I follow this person and I follow them for what they say about books. I love book talk. Why is book talk so political? Because reading is a political act. Books are political. I just follow this account because I want recipes. Why is my favorite food blogger turning political? Because our food systems are political. Every choice, and every interaction you have every day is influenced by politics. And so it is a privilege to say, oh, I'm not impacted by politics. That means that political decisions, that policies that exist, that you function in daily, benefit you. If you have the privilege to say politics don't impact me, they do. You just don't realize it. And so I want to take us back to this stance that everything is political, expanded learning's political. My most recent journey, motherhood, deeply political. So motherhood also makes you cry. So sorry. uh, yeah, so we'll go to the next slide. So I do want to say there is a difference between policy, things being political, and politics. I think it's really easy to diminish things as that's politics. That is a space over here. That's a space I don't belong in because we see political leaders, we see things that look like they are in systems that are so big and hard to navigate. And on the day-to-day, we don't have the capacity to engage in that. We leave politics up to policymakers, to Congress, to legislators. We leave things up to the lobbyists and feel like we don't have a way to engage in that. And I want to bring us back to understanding, again, that everything is political and policy should not be left up to this small group of folks. And it is truly something that all of us need to engage in. For a long time it was, and you might even have rules in your family, right? Like, we don't talk about politics or religion or money at the dinner table or at family gatherings because we don't want to start a fight. Um, and again, that might be the rules you have at your dinner table and your family events. Those are rules you might have in place, but it's really convenient for folks in power to say you shouldn't be talking about politics in public. That's rude. That doesn't look good. Those are things that should be left to private, but that's actually how folks are oppressed, when the powerful folks can convince you that it is not your right to engage in political discussions, to engage in politics, to understand what policy is. And so a lot of what I want to talk about today is how you engage, because there is so much going on in the world right now, right? It might feel overwhelming, not only what you're navigating day to day, but when you, again, jump on social media, when you open the news, when you talk to folks, the scope and scale of things that are happening in our world, I know can feel overwhelming. They feel oftentimes overwhelming for myself. Um, and it can be very easy to just want to kind of sink back into ourselves, into our small communities, and ignore what is happening around us. But those things impact us. And so just want to take a moment on our next slide. You do not have to answer this question. Um, but are you overwhelmed yet? When you look at what is going on the world out in the world, do you feel overwhelmed? Are you overwhelmed with your job? A lot of times, just even the day-to-day can feel overwhelming. Um, just trying to figure out how to do your job, trying to figure out how to be a mom. My next picture, my next slide. This is my darling daughter. And I was going to say I'm a new mom, but I guess I'm not really a new mom anymore. She has recently transitioned into toddlerhood, which is a whole nother experience in my life. And she is a darling girl, and every day, um, it takes a lot to be a parent. No matter how amazing your child is, it takes a lot to be a parent. And some days it feels like all I can do is be a parent because there's so much tied into that. And I often wonder, like, what else can I do? But all I can do today is just show up and be a parent. Um, I'd love to shield my daughter from the world and all the things that are happening. Um, but what is more important to me is that I make sure she has joy and wonder in her life, but she also has awareness of her world, of her community, of her privilege, how she can engage in this world and make it a better place. So just going to go to the next slide. So as the world is overwhelming, I do focus on my daughter, on being a parent. And sometimes it feels like, oh, is that enough? Jeff mentioned this earlier. Someone saying, "Oh, I'm just a site coordinator. Oh, I'm just a parent." But I'm sure most of you have seen some version of this online. Raising kids is a form of protest. Raising kids is a form of activism. Raising kids is a form of resistance. If all you are doing is raising kids to be empathetic, emotionally intelligent, socially conscious, and responsible persons, your role is of utmost importance. Now, this is true whether those kids are yours, like biologically yours, or they're yours to take care of that have been entrusted to you. Those kids that are in your spaces, that are in your programs, the ones that you take care of every day, if all you're doing is taking care of those kids, you are having such an impact on the world already. Jeff talked about a lot of the science behind that this morning, what the things that justify that, but you also know it deeply in your soul. And so no matter what else you are doing, I just want to thank you because you are already doing so much. And I want to just keep us moving. I have a few minutes left. And so there's this really great principle that if you haven't heard yet, although if you've been in can spaces, you probably have, small is good, small is all. So this comes from Adrienne Marie Brown. So when our world feels overwhelming, when what we are facing feels overwhelming, it's really great to come back to this principle. And so whether it's motherhood, whether it's being in spaces and places with our kids and our staff, coming back and just recognizing that this ripple, what we do in these small spaces, impacts all the spaces. And so on the next slide, this is another quote from Adrienne Marie Brown. And if you don't know who she is, you should, because she is fantastic. What we practice at the small scale sets the pattern for the whole system. And so again, really important for us to understand the power of small. Small is good, small is all. And I actually, as I was looking for some pictures and quotes from Adrienne Marie Brown, I came across this really cool resource, and I think it's targeted more towards college kids, but a lot of it is applicable to, I think, to any systems. And also I'll have somebody drop in the link to it. It's based off of emergent strategy, and they applied it to teacher and learning. And it's this great resource that talks about small is all, as well as some other practices that you can bring into your classroom. And I think a lot of those transition as well to what we can bring into our expanded learning space. So we'll drop that in a moment, but just keep us moving. The next slide. If you are not familiar with Adrienne Marie Brown and Emergent Strategy, there's this really fantastic book. There's these really fantastic principles. And so as we are feeling the weight of the world, I think continuing to come back to these principles and hold them. And I'm not going to read through them all, just give you a moment to kind of look at what's on the screen, what stands out to you. Do one of these principles resonate with you? If so, maybe drop that principle into the chat. I love the what you pay attention to grows. That's really also important when we think small is good, small is all. Move at the speed of trust. Yes. All right. Never failure, always a lesson. Change is constant. We are forever learning. All right. So for sure, if you have not checked her out, cannot recommend that enough. But I would like to, in my last 2 minutes, transition to the last couple slides. So I also want to introduce Deepa Iyer, who, if you have not heard of her, is also a really fantastic person to learn from. And she created this really amazing resource called the Social Change Map. And so, again, when we think about what's going on in our world and how we engage, sometimes it feels like there might be one right way to engage, that if I'm not doing this, I'm not making a difference. If I'm not on the front lines, I'm not making a difference. But there are so many different roles to move change. And again, you all are doing that already with what you do with kids and our families. But I really love this model because this talks about the different roles and how important each of these roles are in our systems create social change. And so if we go to the next slide, I'm just going to have you all look at this slide for the last minute or so that I have. Just take a minute to read through these and start to think about what resonates with you. We'll drop in the link in just a moment to the socialchangemap.com. This is her website. There's a great book. And then there's also some free resources. So as you go through, there's a couple handouts that are really great and can have you start to think about, which of these resonates with me? Where are my strengths? Not everybody shows up as a frontline responder. Not everybody shows up as a disruptor. Sometimes we need healers with all the disruption. We need healers to also come in and take care of our communities. We need guides. We need storytellers, right? Art is political. Reading is political. Storytelling, movies, TV. You can name a TV show, I'll tell you it's probably political, even if you didn't realize, because telling stories is so important. So would just love to hear, as I start to wrap up, what role do you feel like resonates with you? Maybe multiple roles. I'd say for myself, the builder role is one that I've connected with for a really long time. It's probably why at some point in my life I wanted to be an architect. And as I close out, just inviting you to think about, what you already do. You're already a change agent. And the more you can reflect on how you leverage your strengths, how you leverage your spaces, so that you can make the change in the world that you want to. And so just inviting you to take a moment, make a commitment. You don't have to put this in the chat, but make a commitment to yourself of how you want to show up and what you do already that you think helps create change in this world. But if there is something you want to learn more about, dig into more, so that you can be even more of a change agent every day. So with that, I just want to thank you all. This is a really amazing and important group of people in our state, and actually across states. We've got out-of-state folks too. And we cannot ever thank you enough for all the work that you do in your communities, but we will try. And so again, just a huge thank you to you all for having me in this space. But more importantly, I hope that you feel through all of the things today empowered, that literally every moment of what you do is so important for our students and our families and our communities. And with that, Troy, I will pass it back to you.
Heather, you didn't disappoint. And I personally say thank you. I hope that you get a chance to look into the chat and see how much love you have been receiving as you've been shaping this story for us. Um, so appreciative to work alongside you in this one. So thank you again for sharing a little bit, and that gentle reminder that we are all change agents, right, in this work. And so, no matter where we sit, no matter where we go, so that is appreciated. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and yeah, everybody, one more time, maybe give it up. I see you guys dropping it in the chat, so keep those flowers coming as we go. Um, and as we do that, I don't want to stand between you and the next sessions, so we'll just kind of slowly transition if we can. Another thank you not only to Heather, but to all the people that helped to make this possible, right? We need you all here to jump in and join us, but there are a lot of other folks that help us to make this possible, our partner sponsors, the guest speakers that we've had today and that we will have in the coming weeks, the workshop presenters that joined us today and are continued, and excited to be able to have you in this third session. Our planning team, as it hopes and that it takes a village to be able to design something like this, and with intention and care. So grateful to each and every one of you, our OST expanded learning practitioners, educators, and education partners. All of those folks are really integral pieces. And of course, our children, our youth, and families, for all of us together in this community. And we can't say enough of a thank you to each and every one of you. So just getting that out of the way, if we can go to the next one, I'll try to keep us on time here. That is my goal, not standing between you and all the wonderful things that are coming. What's coming post your third session is we are doing site visits. These are lists of the folks who you'll have the opportunity to be joining. Um, this information is also in the app, so please feel free to do a little bit. I think that I know that there are write-ups there. Kind of all of these programs are doing an amazing job and have stepped up to show us a little bit of an insight what's happening in their program. So please make sure to visit. The hours are 3 to 4. The links are attached inside the attendee hub, so please make sure that you check that out. Um, and then don't forget, post the site visits. Come back, join us. We're giving you a little bit of time to end your day, maybe get yourself situated, but we are having virtual networking and community building opportunities. We do have some fun games and activities planned. Every year, we always have a good time with this, whether it's in person or virtual. We really would love to have you all return to join us. And so please join us for that. That again, the information for that can be found in the attendee hub. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. But please, if you get a chance and you have the time, come by, meet a new person from around the state, or come by and join us, meet some of us, because we're all over the state too. So you never know who is close to you. I did get some invites to go and visit some programs already because from some of our attendees that are here. So I'm super excited about that. So that's the win and the joys of being able to network and build community with others who are doing this work. Let's break the silos down and come back together. So 5:30 to 6:30 for that. If you all are available, please join us. And then as we go into the next slide, if you are not already, and I know that some of the folks here are new to us as an organization, please stay connected. I love our canned puns. Please stay connected. Um, Facebook, Twitter, or I guess it's X these days, Instagram, LinkedIn. We have YouTube. If you've got your phone, scan it, scan the QR code, jump in there. This information will be spread out other ways as well. So please make sure that you stay informed to help to stay informed. Follow us in any of these ways, in any of these forms, however you choose. So, if you go to the next slide, not just us, but this is a contact list for all of the SSCL, the System of Support for Expanded Learning. This is a system that is created in entirety to support all of the work in which you do. We are all over the state. These folks that are doing this work within these 16 different regions, the 11 regions that exist, and the 16 that are then broken up, to support you and help you to be able to do that. So please don't hesitate to scan the QR code. And if you're enjoying this, don't forget to join us. Next slide. For our academies that are coming. These spring academies are meant to be able to continue to offer information from the folks who are doing the work here, right here in the state. Continue to try to keep you updated to what is happening. As we know, you know. And so these academies are a great place for our newer folks and our older folks alike to be able to kind of come, connect, be in dialogue, learn a thing or two. And as you can see, the dates are being offered the 1st and 2nd and the 7th and 8th of April. So we hope that you'll join us for those as well. And then I think lastly, if you know anything about our organization or you're just getting familiar, we are all about feedback, evaluations. This helps us to shape the narrative of how we design and create, and it helps let us know if we're on the mark or if we missed the mark for any of these things. This is part of the continuous quality improvement process, is to gain feedback from you all. So if at any point get the link, scan the code, um, please share your thoughts, even if it's just a few words. It all is meaningful. So please take a moment if you have the time to just go ahead and share with us what you're thinking and what's going on. So, and I think if you're having fun now, make sure you join us next year. Save the dates for 2027. Yes, we already have the dates, and we're well working on getting you all to join us in Fresno, February 3rd for our virtual, and in person is the 5th and 6th. So please make sure you save the date. Um, Scan the code if you're looking for more information. We'd love to have you join us. This is an annual event that we try our best to make sure it creates the opportunity for you all to connect in various different ways. So please make sure you check that out and make sure you mark your calendar. And I think one more slide there I have before I let you go. Um, this is just the breakdown of the remaining parts of our agenda. As I said, you guys are going to transition here between the 45 and 2 hour. Again, same kind of setup as it has been most of the day. You'll be able to access the rooms 5 minutes before the intended time for it to start. Our workshops are a little bit shorter in this session, or 2 to 2:45. So about 1:55 is my guess is when the sessions will be available for you to be able to access. Post that break, there's a 15-minute break in between the end of that session and the start of our site visits. And then 5:30 to 6:30 again is our virtual networking event. So please, this link will be live for a little bit, but if you have questions at this point, feel free to email us, reach out to any of the contacts that were provided to you. We are very much excited to be able to continue to be in space with each and every one of you. I hope that you enjoy this last session. And again, just a heartfelt thought, congratulations and appreciation to Heather for sharing her story. As I said earlier, I'm super excited to be able to work alongside you, but also I'm glad that you all, as the field, got a chance to hear from her. So please, as I mentioned earlier, in case I don't get a chance to see you again today, thank you for what you do. I hope that you feel loved. I hope that you feel valued. I hope that you feel seen. And I hope that you know how valuable you are to this system, that and to the kids and families and communities that you work within. Uh, and if you ever see us around, please say hello. We would love to be able to connect with you. Or if you ever need assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to be of service for you all. So thank you. And with that, I'm going to say have a good afternoon and enjoy the third session. Thank you for your time. This will be the last time that I may get a chance to see some of you. So peace, love, and take care of yourself. All right. Don't forget to drink your water.